catching up live today for the first time ever at our Cafe Catch Up live series with the Cafe Catch Up live audience. I'm your girl, look at me. I'm your little Miss Justine Isaacs, and I'm with Shanique Ellington, the CEO of Les Champs Cosmetics.
Hi, Justine.
Hi.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for catching up with me today.
Production.
Thank you, thank you. So it's all about you today. We're catching up with you. So why makeup? Why this passion?
I've always loved makeup. I was that person that would show up at UE with a full face done just for class. I remember as young as being probably 6 or 7 just playing in my mommy's makeup. And I loved those flavored glossy lip. You know those
yes,
in high school? Yeah, I always loved makeup, so it came natural for me.
Okay, and what is vegan makeup? I'm just catching up on the terms.
Okay, so vegan makeup is pretty much makeup that is free and clear of any animal byproduct. So you might know or you might not know, but a lot of cosmetics that we use has a high percentage of animal byproducts. Right. So like pork, seafood, there's even insects, you know, there's a lot of lipstick that use the pigment from bugs to get that strong red.
They use bugs in our makeup?
Yes, yes. So Les Champs Cosmetics is 100% vegan and cruelty free.
I love that. Okay, amazing. Congratulations. Can you share with us any top makeup tips? 3 top makeup tips.
Okay, less is more. Tip number 1. Tip 2, skincare is more important than you think. You know, if you do not take care of your skin, you will never get that flawless makeup look.
It's true.
And 3, buy Les Champs products.
Okay, of course. So we have one special question from one of our IT girls, and it is Sophel. What question do you have for us?
Hi. As someone who has contributed so much to the Jamaican beauty industry, where do you want to see it in the next 5 years?
Oh, this is a good question. And
Longevity, prosperity.
Les Champs started out as an online store, as a hobby. But over the course of the past year alone, I've seen global as my benchmark. So in the next 5 years, I see Les Champs Cosmetics on the shelves, in your favorite stores in the US, Canada, UK, where I have a lot of customers currently.
I love that. Okay, and lastly, what advice would you share to female entrepreneurs that want to get into the beauty industry or just want to do makeup?
You know, I believe it's a difficult industry to play in a big way. It requires a lot of investment. So there's barriers to entry in that regard. However, I think if you want something, go for it. Invest, make the sacrifice. It will not happen overnight.
Follow your heart.
But once you remain consistent and you have customers who are loyal and they see the dedication, you will ultimately win. You'll win.
Yes, I'm so inspired. Thank you so much for catching up with me today, Shanique. And thank you guys for being my first Cafe Catch Up Live audience. Thank you to our sponsors. And remember to subscribe, like, and comment below. Hey! products. Please tell us, what are we expecting?
So this has been a product that's highly recommended and so so many of my customers have been telling me I need a blush, I need a contour palette. So because we have two round faces, I decided to have a sister palette. So it's such a cute thing to do. And now we have a contour and a blush / highlighter palette featuring Diana and Suana or the round faces.
Where exactly do you see yourself and when? And then the why is easy. And when you know your why, the how becomes even easier. So why you want to do it and how you're going to get there is, are you going to be creating content on Instagram or TikTok and all that, right? Okay. So now Janique's going to be asking her 8 questions.
In terms of editing, I would really like anyone to tell me, like, you know, the pros, the cons, which app to use, and you know how to set up my iPhone to take really nice pictures, because I do know that they have special settings and I do not know the settings. So anyone can answer.
So I started out using InShot mainly, and it's really good. It's user friendly. It has a lot of features. You don't even have to buy the app. You can have access to all the features with the free app. But then recently, because there's so many. There's VN, there's CapCut, there's InShot, there's Splice, there's Mojo. By the way, Mojo is really good for stories. Like if you're doing storytelling, I discovered that one weekend. I had a partnership with a hotel, and our social media person was using it. I was like, wow, like you discover all these new apps, so you find out what works for you. Yeah, it's really good for stories. Yeah, MOGO, it's really easy to use. But sorry, I'm all over the place. Basically, I was on Instagram and I saw a reel, and the font was like, the transition was amazing. It was like neon lights, the effects was like, I was like, which app did you use? Like, what did you use to get this font? Like, asking people on the platform as well, and they'll tell you like, oh, I use this app. So they were like, oh, I use CapCut. I'm like, what? Girl, I've been sleeping on CapCut. And when I started using the app, I was like, sold. I'm moving from InShot, I'm moving into CapCut, I like it here, it makes my life easier. I'm like, I was doing everything from scratch. CapCut, you can get templates, you can get all the fonts, the effects, the transitions. Girl, and it's all of the free 99 version of CapCut. Okay. So I would definitely recommend CapCut right now. That's what I've been using mainly for my content. And just repurpose the content. You don't have to, like, you can do like a batch content creation, and then you can split it up and like get different reels from that or pictures from that same day of putting content, using in different ways, using on different platforms. There's a website called insta.snap something. If you type in Google, it will come up, and you can literally download your already posted reel or TikTok, and it will download without the watermark. So you can just literally repurpose the same video on YouTube Shorts or on Instagram or TikTok. So it really saves you time. So I would recommend CapCut, Mojo for stories, but you can really do everything on CapCut because it's the same, once you have the size template for the platform and so forth.
Alright, so in your iPhone you want to go and find your camera settings. You want to make sure you're shooting in 4K. You want to make sure that you have your camera sitting on 60 frames per second. That allows you to slow down your footage and get those tight up shots. So if you were looking to shoot and you wanted to zoom in, or you wanted to slow down a piece that you're shooting, if you're shooting in 60 frames per second, that's 60 FPS, it will allow you to slow it down. Your regular TV shoots in 30 frames per second. So regular content that you'll see on TV, etc., is shot between 28 and 30 frames per second. In terms of your exporting, these apps in particular, they're pushing for you to shoot inside of the app as much as possible because they don't want the third-party apps to really be dominating their editing. So if you look at TikTok editors platform, they've really almost mimicked CapCut with the way that they've developed the editor platform now. And what they're doing in particular Instagram with Reels, if you don't shoot the content through Instagram, they will actually shadow ban your views. So you want to make sure that you're shooting your footage in the app, and to hack the quality of the video, you're gonna have to be shooting in 4K, and you're gonna need to carry around a light with you at all times because lighting makes a big difference with iPhone shooting more than anything else. You put a light on, no one can tell if it's an iPhone 14 or an iPhone 11, girl, once you have that light. So ensure you have good lighting at all times for whatever you're shooting, and as best as possible try to shoot in the app and And if not, then find the affiliated apps. So CapCut works for TikTok, so TikTok doesn't shadow ban your videos or shadow your views when you shoot in CapCut, but you need to shoot the video in CapCut with the CapCut camera and then edit it that way, and then you'll see your views increase immediately.
Wow, that's some good insight. Thank you.
So I really admire what you have done, right? Because I realize it's vegan and a lot of persons, they're moving to, you know, that kind of lifestyle. What made you decide that you wanted to do vegan? Was it a personal thing or was it like a demand supply?
Okay, I love that question. I love getting asked that question. So basically, I decided to go vegan with the brand because I have super sensitive skin. And I wanted to ensure that whatever it is I'm putting out there, I can use personally. So you're seeing a full Lechon face, vegan makeup that I'll confidently wear any and every day.
Also, are you a makeup artist?
So I am a makeup enthusiast. So my primary love is business management and my second love is makeup. So because I love them both, it was the perfect combination for a business. So I do love doing makeup on myself, I do it on my friends and family, and some customers request it. But I have a staff of makeup artists that I push, and one of them is here today. So I dabble in it, of course, but I prefer pushing the people who are in it as a career.
I like that you said that because I am also makeup certified, but I don't really practice that much, right? So it's very good to, you know, use the makeup artist that's in the business that knows everything about it. And just a question for your makeup artist. In terms of makeup and blending, because that's what I'm having an issue with. Like, how do you get that done perfectly? And also, how do you choose the right shade for each client?
Right, so the thing is, with makeup, you have different textures. So you have dewy foundations, you have very matte, and you have very oily foundations. So for people who have very dry skin, you know, a lot of companies tend to make them a lot more oily so that they give a lot of hydration to the skin. For me, I have combination skin, so sometimes I'm really, really oily, but then sometimes I'm very dry. So I tend to use things that are a little bit on the more dewy side so that I would still get a little moisture to my skin, but it's not as dry. So it takes time. The more you use different products, the more you learn. But for me, I prefer to use a beauty blender for more drier products because it might look light in the bottom when you put it on the skin and say, oh, this dark, so this look light on the bottom and it look dark on the skin. So the more you work with different brands and you try to understand, you know, people's skin tones and their textures and how their skin or how their undertones are, that's basically how you learn about, you know, using beauty blenders, how to use brushes and all of that.
Wow. All right. Thank you for that because that's one of my major issues. Like trying to find the undertone, you know, and to like sometimes I've used Juvia and the one that I was using was making me very yellow.
Right.
I don't know if you have worked with those foundations.
I have a few times.
Yeah. So so now I'm using like Maybelline Super Stay.
That's my favorite.
Which that's my favorite right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like Juvia Maybelline because it's a drugstore product.
Yeah.
And it's very reasonable and it has a very wide range. But you know, we're in that the shampoo. But just for educational purposes, but you know the shampoo we're in that, right? But yeah, like it has a very wide range of, you know, colors, but as I mentioned before, you have to just know your undertone. And pro tip, when you are doing your makeup, ensure that you match your neck to your face because a lot of people, most times, they have hyperpigmentation. So there's two things. So you have hyperpigmentation and you have hypopigmentation. So hyper is when your face is darker than your neck, and then hypo is when your face is lighter. Right, so you have to just know the difference between the two and ensure that, you know, you find out the foundations that oxidize and find out how to properly blend, because if you don't blend it properly, then it won't come out as smooth. And also ensure skincare is very, very
that's
important.
my other question.
Yes.
What are you using?
look on a makeup artist work and you say, boy, that makeup is, you know, in our face. But the thing is, once you have a really good foundation, not meaning the product foundation, but a good base, right, that's your foundation. Trust me, it makes your work a lot easier. And I tend to tell my clients a lot of times that if you are a very frequent makeup user, or you wear makeup a lot, even if you don't wear makeup a lot, ensure that your skin is in good condition, because it makes your life easier and it makes the makeup artist's life a lot easier. So it saves a lot of time.
What inspired you to start your own makeup line?
That is a question I get asked very often, and it started because of COVID.
Oh, nice.
So, do you guys remember that 1 week that we had the lockdown in COVID and we didn't know what to do with ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going crazy. So I decided, let me do something I love, which is business management. So it started out as a hobby, and it was an online store. But people just loved it. And they kept asking for more. And eventually I realized that, you know, it's a low-hanging fruit in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I decided, let me put more energy, more steam behind it. So now we're 3 years old. We have our own storefront at 14 Goodwood Terrace. And we're placed in the real hotels across Jamaica. It's just been magical. You know, we've been doing a lot of things and we're very blessed. And it's no longer a hobby, it's my full-time job.
Yes, we love that, and as it should be. So guys, that's just such a great example to believe in, you know, your dreams, your goals, and push on. And once you have a good support system, it's gonna come together. So are there any more questions?
As a female entrepreneur, what was the biggest challenge you had coming into a market that has predominantly been we use European brands, we use American brands. We have a bad reputation with Brand Jamaica, and believing that quality of Brand Jamaica in terms of products is very low. So from your standpoint, what was your biggest challenge launching this product on the local market?
So the biggest challenge for me was finding suppliers. And it's still a sore point because at the end of the day, I love Jamaica. I'll always be pushing Jamaica no matter what, but there is no factory in Jamaica that can make it at the standard and quality that I have made these products. And so because of that challenge and that shortfall, I decided to source international factories that are of the highest standard, FDA certified, vegan and organic. And in addition to that, I noticed that other local brands, because when I did my research, not many focused on foundation shades to encompass the entire spectrum of shades in Jamaica. And that was one of the reasons we are standing out amongst them, because we have 15 shades and it's an extensive range. And so that part was, for lack of a better word, the easier part, you know? But the more difficult part was getting those undertones perfect. You know, I feel like I still have a ways to go, but the formulation we have now is not the first round of formulation. It was a lot of sleepless nights. We had to go back to the drawing board on some of the products, but now I'm 100% confident in what we put together, and the shades now really encompass what our Jamaican skin type, undertone, and you know, the range of shades really is.
We're catching up with Lasham Cosmetics at 14 Goodwood Terrace in Kingston, Jamaica. Come inside and see how I got this amazing look by Shanique Ellington, the CEO. So Shanique is going to be doing my Lasham Latte makeup look.
Okay, so for the latte look, it's a soft glam that focuses on your natural skin finish, and we're going to be using earth tones, so the browns, you know, the beige, and a nice soft lip. So let's get into it. So first we're going to prime her skin with our Le Champ Cosmetics mattifying primer, and this is a poreless primer, so it minimizes the appearance of pores on the skin to give a flawless makeup finish look. And you always want to press the primer into the skin. The foundation we're going to be using for this latte look is a combination of our Le Champ foundation shade Toronto and Havana. And the brush we're going to use is our Le Champ foundation brush to press the makeup into the skin ever so gently. I love this foundation brush because it's flat at the top and it has a slight angle. So it goes with the curvature of the face naturally. And this is her foundation application. Now we're going to contour and conceal to bring back dimension to the face. Next, we're going to be applying her concealer, and the shade we're using is the Fair Warm. For this step, we always like to ask whoever we're applying our makeup to look up so that we can blend it without creasing. And you always want to start blending from the outer section inwards. And another tip for applying concealers, you want to ensure that you get it angled upwards, and this lifts the face. It gives a nice youthful look. So we blend the outer portions of the eye first, and then we go inside. So the translucent powder is what we're going to be using to set under her eyes with our triangle powder puff. Now we'll apply her pressed powder shade to the entire face, and her shade is the Yan. And these are all vegan makeup products. So they're gentle on the skin. And now the fun part, we are going to be using our newly released Le Champ Cosmetics Contour Palette. And this palette is something I really love because it has 6 amazing shades to give contour to every skin tone. So for Justine, we're going to be contouring with this shade. Yeah, so let's get into it. And you see, once we apply the contour, the face comes to life. And when we are contouring, we always want to go below the high cheekbones so we can create a shadow. I'll also use a smaller brush with the same contour shade to get the nose bridge chisel. And for a nice snatched look, we'll use the same translucent powder to define the cheekbones that we just applied our contour. And while Justine is baking, we will now apply our blush. So this is also a new addition to our range, and this has 3 shades of blushes for light, medium, and deep skin tones, in addition to 3 shades of highlighters. So for Justine, I'm going to use this nice pink. It's a very youthful pink, and it's very pigmented, so you want to be careful. This blush set will last you a very long time. And because we're going for the latte look, I don't want it to be excessively pink, so we're going to use just a minimal amount, but you could see the difference coming to light. Next, we're going to do her brows with our brow pencil, and this is in the shade Dark Brown. And I love this brow pencil because it comes with a nice spoolie that you could use to tame the brows while you're drawing them. Groom the brows once again using the brow spoolie. Now I'm going to set her face with our Le Champ vegan setting spray. So close your eyes. Next we're going to do some lashes. So I already applied her falsies and we're going to use our Le Champ volumizing mascara to do her cute baby bottom lashes. Okay. So for the latte look, we just applied some vegan lip balm and I'm going to use our lip pencil in the shade brown to line her lips and then we overlay with some gloss. And the glossy lipstick we're using is one of our hot sellers. It's the Le Champ Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Skin. Now to add our final touch, we're gonna go back into our blush highlight palette and give her some highlights on the cheekbone. And for this, I think I want to use our medium highlight shader.